We all make mistakes. I totally forgot to get to the biggest part of this whole lesson. So this will be like the second little video because our target was all about War Powers Act Alpha Tonkin. You might be like, well, we never talked about War Powers. And you're totally right. I screwed up. Um, so if this is Vietnam today, we know that it has unified with North Vietnam taking over. What about lessons? What did America learn, at least from its government, about Vietnam? And that's where we have to get to the war powers. This is all about limiting the president's power to use the military. Remember, after the Gulf of Tonkin, Congress basically wrote the Gulf of Tonkin resolution to give their war powers over to the president. It was like hot potato. And we saw how out of hand that got, from Johnson escalating troop powers to Nixon expanding it to Laos and Cambodia. This is trying to take those powers back to Congress, limit the president's power to use the military. So it sets kind of parameters, limitations, and when the president can authorize military force. If Congress declares war, president's got the go ahead. If Congress tells the president exactly they can do something, they can do it. Or if there's a national emergency, the president can act. We don't want there to be a Pearl Harbor and the president being frozen until they're able to assemble Congress and discuss what to do. They should be able to act kind of immediately if there's an emergency. Now, how can you define what an emergency is going to be hotly debated. It's not always going to mean the same thing each person. So if the president does act under what they see as an emergency, they got to report to Congress in 48 hours and they need approval to continue whatever action they're doing. This might seem like a pretty, maybe not airtight, but pretty good plan to limit presidential wartime authority. But throughout history, this will often be either overlooked or completely discarded. So it's by no means a strict kind of law. Even recently, when President Trump authorized the use of a drone strike to kill Soleimani, the uh, kind of second in command in Iran, Congress passed a Iran War Powers Resolution, which in a lot of ways is almost just a redux of the War Powers Act. So these debates about what the president can and can't do with the military are still going on today. So if you want to compare War Powers Resolution to the Gulf of Tonkin gave war powers. The War Powers Act tries to limit them for the president. All right. Now I think I got to everything. Talk to you soon.